All right, good evening, everybody. David Paul here with you in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. We are live. Weather Service went ahead and pulled the trigger on a winter storm watch for Houston and all of southeast Texas, all the way from Huntsville, Madisonville, all the way down to the coast of Galveston. It's in effect, going into effect as we head into Sunday evening. That's when we expect the weather to start going downhill with sleet and freezing rain starting late Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and then becoming a full-blown winter storm Sunday night through Monday morning, through midday on Monday, not exiting until late Monday afternoon. It is very unusual for Houston to get a winter storm like this one. Even more unusual for all of Texas to be under winter storm watches and warnings. Winter storm conditions may extend all the way down to Brownsville, even into northern Mexico as this system comes through. So this is the real deal, no doubt about it. So the numbers I'm going to throw out at you as far as winds and how cold it's going to get and wind chill and snow amounts are going to seem a little strange for a Houston forecast, but take it seriously. Hopefully most of you can just stay at home and hunker down a lot like we have been for the past 9 months. But for those of you who may have a neighbor who's elderly, you may know someone who may just need some extra help on a normal day, they may need even more help getting prepared and staying safe during this unusually bitter, dangerously cold outbreak that we are about to have. So just check on your neighbor, make sure everybody's okay, make sure the little ones are good, the pets, the people, the plants, the pipes. You do need to protect your pipes for this one. And temperatures already this afternoon are once again below what computer guidance had suggested. We're sitting on 35 right now in the Woodlands. We were expected to be at about 40 right now, so we're 5 degrees colder than computers had suggested. North wind at 18. These are current temps across the board. It's already freezing in Brenham where you're 32, College Station is 30, Huntsville's 30, just barely above freezing Tomball, Conroe. You'll probably drop to freezing there this evening. Bushwick Continental 35, Hobby 37, only a few degrees above freezing. You're 40 in Mont Belvieu, Galveston at 40. I do want to stress though, folks, coastal counties, you're not used to a winter storm. You're going to get it this time with sleet, freezing rain, and driving conditions that will be impossible as we head into Sunday night and Monday. Now, normally we have to wait for the cold air to come out of Canada to come down into the United States, and we kind of speculate whether or not it'll make it all the way down here. Well, in this case, in advance of the storm rolling in, the cold air is already in place. Dallas is in the 20s. They've been below freezing for 2.5, 3 days already now, just miserable. Here's Houston at 35. We've fallen from 38 this afternoon down to 35. And if you were with us last night at 10, we were taking a closer look. You can see the leading edge of the second push continues to push south. So here we are Friday afternoon. So that push, it's actually already sending colder temperatures south with it, but that really bitter cold stuff is going to come all the way down to the Gulf Coast over the next 36, 48 hours. And that will result in Tuesday morning's lows being in the single digits, flirting with all-time record lows that we've ever seen here in Houston. We'll go over that in just a minute. So jet stream pattern, here we are going into Saturday, and this little kink will allow that cold air that we looked at to just be able to plunge southward. That'll bring more cold air in. Here comes your Sunday night into Monday storm with your trough at the upper levels, the jet stream winds. This is interesting though, because now this is forecast to be tilted negatively. So that southeast tilt, that's called a negative tilt. When you get a negatively tilted trough, it just means you're going to get enhanced lift right over that part of the trough where Houston and East Texas is. We may end up with some thunder sleet or thunder snow as this system pulls through Sunday night and Monday with temperatures well below freezing. You can imagine what that's going to do to roads, trees, and power lines. And then we get another storm coming in Wednesday night into Thursday. This one's a positive tilt, so not quite as severe, but still is forecast to put down sleet and snow in Houston Wednesday night through Thursday. So a couple of storms coming in. Let's just take them one at a time. All these winter weather watches and warnings are for Sunday night into Monday, the first storm. The pink winter storm warnings, the blue winter storm watch. It means conditions are likely to become winter storm-like when this goes into effect, which is Sunday night through the day on Monday. That will probably be updated to pink in the next 24, 36 hours as it becomes more likely that, yes, we're actually going to have this. Temperatures. So here's Monday at 1 in the afternoon. While it's still sleeting and snowing, it's 19 degrees. So that may be our high temperature on Monday. If 19 is the temperature on Monday, it will beat the old record low high temperature by 1 degree. The record low high temperature for Houston is 20. 19 would be a new record. We go into Tuesday morning. A low of 8 is forecast. The all-time record low for Houston is 5, set January 1930. We're going to be close to that. Dallas -4. And these temperatures are computer temperatures, which have all been running too warm. So these temperatures may end up being 4, 5, 6 degrees colder when we actually see what actually happens. Are we going to be near 0 in Houston on Tuesday morning? It's not out of the question. Clearly, this is dangerously cold. In addition to those bitter cold temperatures, the wind is going to make it even more dangerously cold. This is Monday, 4 a.m. in the wee hours. Hopefully you're tucked into bed. This is when the storm is getting going, dumping freezing rain and sleet with a north wind at 20 to 25. We go into Monday morning after sunrise, north winds sustained at 30 to 35 across the heart of the Houston area. It may be sustained closer to 40, Brenham, Columbus, El Campo. So this is the type of wind that can cause blizzard conditions. A blizzard has nothing to do with snow, it has to do with visibility. When you get that type of wind, whatever's falling, sleet, snow, whips up, spins, and it makes visibility drop to 0 at times. So it may be that we're getting winter precip and wind strong enough to drop visibility to 0. So think about this. Sleet, freezing rain, snow, ice over everything, and winds at 30 on Monday. Are you going to drive in that? No, you're not. Don't even think about it. Have supplies so you can just stay put starting Sunday afternoon, and you may need to stay put until Tuesday afternoon. Maybe you'll be able to get out and move, or maybe not, because temps will stay below freezing and the roads may still stay iced up. As we head into Monday afternoon, still a northwest wind, sustained at 30. It may gust stronger than that. This is like a tropical storm or a tropical depression, only it's wintertime. So the wind is going to make it feel colder than it actually is. This is Monday, wee hours, wind chills, sleet, snow, freezing rain, wind, feels like 16 at Bush, feels like 16 at Sugar Land. You get the idea. You do not want to be out in that at all. Monday, 4 in the afternoon. Hopefully the storm is tapering down at that point. Wind chill 9 at Bush, wind chill 8 Sugar Land. Mont Belvieu, your wind chill at 16 degrees. And then Tuesday morning, the bottom falls out. Wind chill of -1 at Bush, -1 Sugar Land, -5 Katy, -8 in Brenham. Again, just the type of numbers we never forecast here. But that looks likely to occur, very likely to occur as we head into Monday. So here's the big picture. This is Saturday, and we're just going to kind of catch a break tomorrow. It's cold, temperatures hovering in the 30s all day, north wind, mostly cloudy and cold. Get your preparations done on Saturday. Sunday, early in the morning, we may begin to see a little bit of light precipitation around the Houston area. North of I-10, we may get some sleet. North of Highway 105, would not surprise me if that was freezing drizzle. That, even just drizzle, freezing drizzle can ice up bridges. So heads up. Sunday, even in the morning, we may begin to get reports of some icy bridges. This is 6 p.m. and look at how the precip expands. That's sleet and freezing rain north of I-10 by Sunday at 6 p.m. So by sunset on Sunday, driving conditions are beginning to get very hazardous. And then here we go into Monday morning with a full-blown winter storm. Sleet, freezing rain, snow. Here's the position of the coastal low, which is several hundred miles off the coast. The further off the coast it gets, the more cold air it pulls in. That's usually a factor, but in this case, the air is so cold and already in place, it's far enough out there so all of this is going to be frozen of some sort Monday morning. This is Monday 1:30. Still probably mostly sleet. That's all snow. Could be several inches of snow. Tuesday morning, we get a little clearing here in Houston. That's when we drop down to the single digits. And you get up to Huntsville, College Station, probably near 0. Tuesday morning. And look at this. That is a band of snow forecast several hundred miles out in the Gulf of Mexico. If you follow me on Twitter, it was around this time, Thursday or Friday of last week, that the model started suggesting this. And I remember I tweeted this out. I said, look at this. The computers are suggesting snow in the Gulf of Mexico. How silly is that? Now it's looking like a very likely possibility on Tuesday. And then we roll into Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. Another winter storm rolls in. I know it's showing rain here over Houston in the green, but I think it's going to be sleet and snow. And then we've got Thursday into Thursday afternoon, still sleet and snow lingering. So 2 winter storms expected over the next 7 days. I have never seen that in Houston. I've been here all my life. I've certainly never put it on a forecast, but yet there it is. So not only could we be breaking all-time record lows, but I'm making forecasts that I've never made before. It's very much outside of mine and everybody's normalcy bias as to how this is playing out. Monday at 10 o'clock. So the snow is done from the first storm. What are the totals going to be? Anywhere from 1 inch to 6.5 inches across the area. Tomball, we're forecasting 4.5 inches of snow for you. Hobby, maybe 2 1/3. Houston, 3.5. Pearland, 2 inches. Galveston and the beaches, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of snow. You've got lower snow totals south and east of Highway 59 because at the onset this won't be snow, it will be freezing rain. So this is probably ice covered and then a little snow on top, while in the northwest counties it may all be snow, and that's why your snow totals are higher, but everybody will get the same amount of precipitation. Here's the extended. Take a picture. You will never see this again. I never thought I'd see something like this. Saturday, I've got us near freezing in the morning. This is in Houston, northwest counties. You're going to get a light freeze tonight. 38 Saturday afternoon, 10% chance for a sprinkle. And then Sunday, 33. Notice how we drop to 32 during the day. So then north of I-10, we're going to begin to see roads ice up in the afternoon and evening. Monday is the full-blown winter storm. Temps drop again during the day from 28 down to 20. Tuesday, a low of 8 and a high of 29. And these numbers may be too warm. Wednesday, more ice and snow with our second system, 24, 29. Thursday morning, it lingers with snow, 28. We get to near freezing, then we drop back down to 19, then 42. So look at this. This is the other part of this that is so unusual. It's the long duration of this event. We drop to freezing Sunday afternoon, and then we stay there for 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 days until we get back above freezing. If you can wrap up your PVC pipes outside the best you can, do it. All the little faucets exiting your house, put some covering or wrap a towel around those. Obviously, any animals need to be protected. Check on that neighbor that you know needs a little bit of extra help. Make sure they're doing okay. Power outages are a big threat. And in fact, as we start this conversation, let's bring in Mia Gradney. Mia's standing by. She's got a mic on. Hey, Mia.
Hey there, David Paul.
So, fellow Houstonian, what are your thoughts when you see the numbers like this being put up in the weather forecast?
This is not supposed to happen here, and this is not supposed to happen at this time of year.
Yeah.
That's for sure in Houston, Texas. We go through so much in the summertime with hurricane season. And here we are. And, you know, I've been following people on Facebook right now who have joined us and their comments, and really they share the same sentiment, David.
Yeah.
Jessica Paul said, thank you for this winter weather lesson. These are conditions we've never heard of,
yeah.
LOL, because this is just something we're not used to.
It's like Green Bay. That was one of my my Twitter followers tweeted out on my Twitter account. What? I don't live in Green Bay. What is this? And I actually answered back. I said, well, maybe not Green Bay, but Omaha, Nebraska definitely feels like an Omaha, Nebraska on a cold winter day. These are just so unusual. Is there anybody out there who has questions about pipes or how to protect yourself or what to do, when to get off the road?
Oh, yeah, you bet. We have lots of questions here, Dave. So I want to start with this one because you dropped this term and then everyone started asking about it. Thunder snow.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvia Gomez said, wait, thunder snow.
Right.
What is that? Amanda Atkins wanted to know, Jonathan Thomas, Valerie Rodriguez, the list goes on and on. Okay, let the people know, let us all know, what is thunder snow? It does sound a bit menacing.
It's weird. It's a thunderstorm, only it's so cold that it doesn't come down as liquid rain. It comes down as sleet or snow. There's thunder sleet, and then there's thunder snow. And the reason I'm saying that there is a chance for lightning and thunder with this winter weather while it's snowing is because of the orientation of the jet stream. This is one of the reasons why I am a student of the jet, and I follow it like crazy, because as we head into Monday and this trough approaches, and we look at these troughs all the time, but this one, so there's the base of the trough. See how this is angled from northwest to southeast. So that is called a negative tilt. And what it means is down here at the base of the trough, the winds, as they curlicue back around, they're spreading, they're opening up way up there at 34,000 feet. It's creating a vacuum at 34,000 feet, which means you've got air rising, and it rises even faster because it's being sucked up into that vacuum. And when you get that type of rising air, you get convection, and that's what can produce lightning and thunder. That convection polarizes the cloud. Positive charges go up top, negative charges go to the bottom, and you end up getting a release of static electricity. So that negative tilt to the trough tells me that indeed we may have convection, up and down motion in these clouds, enough to separate, polarize them, and give us lightning and thunder. But instead of rain, it's going to be cold enough to make sleet or snow. So thunder sleet, thunder snow is a possibility, something I have never witnessed myself. So I'm kind of interested to see if this actually happens.
Yeah, we're all in this together. A lot of us first timers here as native Houstonians. Okay, Melody Shoemaker asks, David, should I turn my heat up higher than normal on Monday to help attic pipes?
So as long as you've just got the heat running like you normally do, so I set mine at like 70 in the house, which keeps it cool during cold days, but 70 is fine with me. So that heat is going to rise into your attic. Now, attic temperatures may get cold up there, but as long as you've got the heat running, enough of that should go up into the attic, and it will, so that your pipes in the attic should not be at threat for bursting. We saw pipes in attics burst, a lot of them in 1989, the last time we had bitter cold like this. But for the most part, it happened to homes where people had left for the Christmas holiday. That freeze happened over Christmas. There were a lot of people who were out of town, and they had the heat off. So the entire house got cold. It got cold enough in the attic to burst pipes. As long as you're at home and you're running your heater, the pipes in your house should be fine. But I would take time to cover up the outside faucets that are just coming out of the side of your house. Disconnect the hose and just cover them up, wrap them with a towel, or you can go to one of the hardware stores and get a little cover for them. That works, just to keep them from freezing up just in case. But even that is unlikely. What's the greatest threat is if you have an irrigation system, you've got a plastic PVC pipe coming out of the ground somewhere, usually back behind your garage. It's a backflow valve, but that pipe will break, and that's $350 to have fixed. I know I've had to do it twice. So I will be wrapping that one very, very tightly and well. I'm going to leave the plants to themselves. I've got one citrus plant in a pot I'll bring in. The rest of them I'm just going to let them go. It's going to be 5 days below freezing. Even covering them, I think most of these plants are going to freeze.
David Paul, that was the next question on deck.
Yeah.
Carol St. Andrew had asked, how about my queen palms?
Oh, the queen palms are in jeopardy. They really are. And if they're mature queen palms, they're huge. They're beautiful. No, this is going to devastate tropical plants. There was a queen palm in the neighborhood that I bike through that I just loved to go by every day. It was so beautiful. And we had a freeze I think a couple of years ago, dropped down into the upper teens, and it couldn't take it, and it died. So you'll be lucky if the queen palms survive. And this is going to really damage the tropical plant industry up and down through Texas. If you run a nursery and you can protect your tropical plants, you'll make a fortune in the spring when everybody wants to try to replace their tropical plants.
Yeah, no doubt. I know you've talked about just how dangerous of a situation this is, especially out on the roads once we see the water turn to ice on the roads. David Paul, Diego says, my boss says I still have to drive into work. There are a lot of people concerned about what the road conditions are going to look like. What can we anticipate with the weather conditions you're seeing?
I say no. I say do not drive in this on Monday morning. Don't do it. Not only are you looking at roads covered with ice, guaranteed the bridges and overpasses, but because we've been so cold for several days and we're below freezing now up in northwest Harris County to the northwest, even the surface roads, the ones that are on the ground, have been in a situation where they're being refrigerated. They're getting colder and colder and colder. Usually we're warm, then all of a sudden we get 1 or 2 days of cold, we'll get some ice, but it'll melt on the surface roads. In this case, it will not melt on the surface roads. It will freeze and stay frozen, I'm concerned. And so listen, I would tell your boss that it may very likely be too dangerous to drive anywhere on Monday. In fact, starting Sunday night. So, like myself, I'm camping out here Sunday night. So I'm not driving because I know how dangerous those roads can be. I would highly recommend that if you can stay home, if it's not an emergency of life-threatening origin, you should stay home and stay off the roads if you absolutely can, because it is going to be very dangerous on the roads Sunday night, Monday, even probably into Monday night and through Tuesday morning, because it's going to be so cold.
Yeah. I know, there are so many people who are essential workers, right? And they're still like, hey, I still got to get to work. Yeah. The thing is it might take some extra planning and showing up early, right, David Paul, and sleeping at work until it's time for your shift, if you must get out there on the road and if you are an essential worker. So just want to offer that to people. Real quick, David, we've talked about ice, but we are getting questions about snow. Josie wants to know, will it snow? That's the $100 million question, right?
I think it's going to snow. Let me get back to snow totals here. It may start as sleet and freezing rain, especially south and east of 59, 69, but it is most definitely going to end up snowing. This is the snow forecast. Look at the northwest counties. From downtown to the northwest, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5 inches of snow is forecast. The reason the snow totals are lower toward the coast is because we think that this at first is going to be freezing rain, which is not counted in a snow total. But the freezing rain, again, freezing rain, it's liquid, but it hits the cold surfaces and it immediately turns to ice. And that's why the roads are going to very quickly and first off become ice covered and very, very dangerous and literally impossible at times to drive on. And to the point about the essential workers, and that is such a great point, there are people who are absolutely necessary to be in key positions around this city. I would highly recommend that you make plans to be where you need to be by Sunday lunchtime, Sunday afternoon. If you have to be there Monday morning, be there Sunday no later than 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so that you're there. You may have to sleep on the floor, okay, but you'll be there safely, be able to do your essential job on Monday without having to get out on the roads, which I really fear are going to be very, very dangerous.
Yeah. Someone else, Tracy Sandifer, she's asking, David, will things look better by Wednesday morning? Give us some hope here.
No.
No. I was trying, everybody. I was trying. I asked him to give us some hope.
Let me show you. This is storm number 2. So it starts Wednesday morning with storm number 2. Snow, maybe some sleet and snow Wednesday morning, turning over to all snow Wednesday during the day, lasting through at least Thursday morning. It is an unprecedented week of winter weather in Houston. The only day when we're not forecasting anything to fall out of the sky is Tuesday, but Tuesday it's 8 degrees in the morning and a high of only 29, and that will not allow for much melting of what falls on Monday. So if you're seeing this sunshine and you're thinking, oh, I can get out and get around on Tuesday, heads up, you may not be able to, or at least it will be extremely slow going. Then more sleet and snow Wednesday and Thursday. Friday afternoon, we finally warmed to 42 after a low of 19. Friday afternoon by 42 with sun, that should melt a whole lot of the ice and sleet off the roads, but we've got 5 days leading up to that where it's going to be very dangerous to travel by road around here.
Yeah. Yuli asked this, David, and I know David and I always talk in between newscasts nonstop, right? Oftentimes it is about the weather. And we've been talking today as well about power outages, the potential for down power lines. And Yuli asked, could we have power outages? From your experience, what's the deal?
We're going to have power outages. We are going to have power outages. I don't know to what extent, but I'm very concerned about the power outage threat. So when you get freezing rain, it's liquid and it hits the surfaces of trees and power lines and it instantly freezes. So it starts creating a coating of ice, and a coating of ice, between 1/4 and 1/2 inch on a power line, between one pole and another pole, can add 200 to 400 pounds of weight on that power line, and quite often that's enough to snap them. In addition to that, you can imagine the tree limbs, and a lot of the trees around here, some of them don't have leaves right now, but a lot of them do. A lot of the oaks still have leaves on them. Those leaves act as ice holders. They get tremendously heavy very quickly. They bend, crack, and then they break, and if there's a power line down there, it breaks the power line as well. Combine that with a wind sustained at 30, this is the setup for a tremendous amount of power outages for a long duration, because think about it, the crews have to get out to fix this stuff and they're trying to travel on very dangerous roads. So, whatever supplies you have, you may need them for the next several days, starting Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, because people just may not be able to get to you and your house may get very cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there, I've done that before.
Yeah, I know
in the
have.
90s. Yes, in the 90s I did. It was the ice storm in 97,
97.
right? Yeah, first of all, it took me, I was coming from Huntsville and Sam Houston State University, and I was headed back to my parents' place. And first of all, it took me 45 minutes to cross that bridge, that portion of 45, from Conroe into Shenandoah, and I just watched cars spin out around me on the ice. I don't even think my foot was on the accelerator. Somehow I managed to cross it. Then I got home, and sure enough, there was absolutely no electricity.
So tell them what you did.
I went to bed. I wore like a coat to bed. I wore a hat, and every single blanket and quilt that was in the home, and I was home by myself at that time, I piled on top of me. And I mean, that could possibly be someone's reality come next week.
It may be a lot of our reality. And for you and I, and most people, we can do that. We can pile the blankets on, we can make a little nest somewhere and survive it, and we'd be okay. But for a neighbor who just may be elderly or moves slower, that's why I'm suggesting this is a time to just go knock on a door and see if anyone needs a blanket, especially if the power is out in your neighborhood and you know someone who just might need a little bit of help.
Yeah, and please stay safe out there. I know we're tempted to, when there isn't heat in the home, to find alternative ways to heat the home, to leave the oven door open, all of that. Please don't. It's so dangerous. Either, go to a family's house, and I know that's hard with COVID going on and social distancing, but really if you have, that older loved one or someone who just doesn't have the heat in their home, make sure they have what they need and make sure they're staying safe with space heaters and, like I said, opening up the oven doors as well. Okay, so I've had a lot of questions here on Facebook from people very specific about, their pipes, their pool pipes, should I leave the pool running, all of these things. I tell you this, folks, Dave and I are speaking from our personal experiences and then what we've also witnessed as eyewitnesses covering the news for decades and weather for decades. So I'm going to try and get this one last question answered. Dave, you are quite the handyman at home. I don't know if you can answer this, but Deborah wanted to know, and she's not the only person. Deborah's from El Campo. She says she has pipes under her house.
Right.
What should she do? Do you know? So
there are so many homes that are on pier and beam, right? And so they're up off the ground. The best thing you can do is, if you don't have eaves that come down and block the wind, you want to stop the wind from blowing up underneath the house. That's what you want to try to do. So either do that with plywood or plastic or something so that if your house is up off the ground and it's exposed down here, you want to just stop the wind from being able to get up under the house. If the wind gets up under the house, then it can get cold enough under there to possibly break the pipes. Now, one thing you've got going for you under there is that they're near the ground. They're coming up out of the ground, but the wind is going to be strong. It's going to blow that cold air right underneath the house. So you need to stop somehow the wind from getting up under the house. If it were me, I would go get a bunch of plywood and cut it real quick. And stick it on the side of the house. It might be easier to try to do it with some stakes and some thick plastic. So I think the hardware stores are going to be very busy over the next 24 to 36 hours. But somehow try to stop that wind from blowing underneath those piers that are coming up and holding the beams of your first floorboard up off the ground.
I knew you'd have an answer.
Well, that's a lot of work. If it's not done, it's a lot of work. And the pool question as well. I just realized, so I do have a pool. Man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to just turn it on and let it run.
It's a long time to keep it running too. I mean, that's it. But it's better than dealing with the aftermath and some costly problems.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I would say so. We're going to find out, right?
Well, this is an unprecedented event for so many people, and for me as a homeowner with this. In '97, that storm you're talking about, I was in my second year at KHOU, and I was in a rental house in the Heights. And I was never so glad to be in a rental property where someone else owned it, and so if
someone else's problem is what you're trying to say.
It was someone else's problem. Now it's my problem and everybody's problem. So I do try to think about these things. It's a lot to think about, but the most important thing is all that stuff can be replaced. But yourself, your neighbors, your pets, warm place to go. Bring them in. Oh, I need to tweet this out, Mia. So my cat, who never comes in,
yes,
the one you try to pick her up, forget it, she runs. I opened the door this afternoon, leaving for work, and she came in.
She jumped into your arms.
Well, not exactly, but she actually brought herself in. I was like, oh,
yeah,
it really is
that's
coming.
Just how cold it is. All right, one last question, and then we're going to wrap up. But of course, we'll continue with our coverage coming up at 10. But Jed asked, Dave, are you concerned these temperatures could be colder than what you are predicting?
Yes, I am. We're forecasting 8. The computer models are forecasting 8 for Tuesday morning, but every time I look, temperatures are running 3, 5, 7, 9 degrees colder than what the models are forecasting. So I am concerned that even in Houston, we could drop down to 3, 2, 1, near 0. Again, our record all-time low temperature in Houston is 5 degrees. That was January 1930. So this does happen from time to time. It is very rare, but this is one of these really rare setups. So anything could happen. We could have a forecast bust and have us drop down closer to 0 than anything else by Tuesday morning.
Well, I tell you what you need to do, folks. If you haven't already, get connected. Get the KHOU 11 app.
Yeah.
It is free. You can sign up for notifications and alerts as well. It's a really handy tool. Go ahead and do that. Something else you can do, join us for our regular newscast, the next one being at 10 o'clock tonight. Dave and I will see you there. Thanks so much. Stay warm until then.